you hoping for Tory?
Well, we're hoping for the best outcome for everyone. And essentially, I think Tory has proven through his extensive community service and the lives he's touched. You all saw today how extensive it is. This young man was not only an entertainer, he was also a philanthropist, hand in hand, as was testified today. It's unbelievable how many lives he's touched for the better, and how many people he's helped, completely being unselfish and trying to help others. And I'm sorry, I think that's something that is significant. I think the more lives you touch in a positive way should be weighed when judging the man. And we judge a person by what they've done their entire lives, not just in their worst moments and moments that they're not proud of. And this is something that started before this incident and continued even after the incident, and the lives he's changed. Even you heard from the chaplain today, even while incarcerated, he's there trying to help people. And how you can ignore that is well, let me put it this way. I don't think you can ignore that. I don't think you should ignore that. And I don't think any of us want a system where someone would ignore hundreds of good deeds and judge them harshly on one incident, on an alcohol-fueled incident. And for that reason, I think it's incredibly important that not only, specifically that the court know who Daystar Peterson is. And I'll admit, I didn't know. And as I was investigating this case, and throughout all of my years of practicing law, I've never seen an individual, and I've represented many celebrities and many people who are financially well off. None of them, and I repeat, none of them even come close to Daystar Peterson. And I hope all of you saw a different side of Tory today that you may not have seen or known about. And that's because that's not something that he goes out seeking attention for. And just the random acts of kindness are beyond belief. And because he's incarcerated, people are suffering right now. The people who he was constantly helping over the years, the mothers, the single mothers who are out there trying to raise a family while their husbands are incarcerated. He's paying for their bail money, their legal fees, different things like that, moving towards social justice reform. You saw today a crippling non-profit organization that's suffering because they don't have his support anymore. And one incident or two or three things a year or something like that, or incidents where you're trying to get publicity, that's one thing. But clearly that's not the case in this situation, where I'm blown away at the type of young man that he is, based on everything that I've seen.
The mitigating factors could be outweighed by the judge saying that the social media actions are a significant aggravating factor here.
But the day we start paying attention to social media in our criminal justice system is a very sad day. How people believe, the fact that we've moved into a society where we pay so much attention on what people like and don't like, or criticize us online.
There's been a lot of talk that he is not remorseful for what happened. Is he remorseful?
This case in general, to use it for clout for social media, do you agree with that?
Okay, if you're going to ask me a question...
Is he remorseful?
Is he remorseful?
Wait.
The judge cited several times about remorse. Is your client remorseful?
Would you like to get out here and finish? Well, here's my point. If you're going to ask me a question, please let me finish my answer. Okay? So, as I was saying earlier, the specific acts go way beyond that. Now, what is your question?
Is he remorseful?
I think it's absolutely clear that he was remorseful, because he called Ms. Harris and reached out to Ms. Pete immediately for his behavior that evening, and accepted responsibility for that. He is incredibly remorseful and ashamed and embarrassed that all of this happened. And I think as an individual, and those who were there that evening know what the truth is, but as far as his part is concerned, as far as his actions are concerned, he has been nothing but apologetic for that, given, unfortunately, there are certain times and certain incidences where he's not proud of, but But ultimately, his first instinct was to call and apologize, and I think that says a lot.
But to be clear,
If
you're not
Tory
saying
gets
he
time,
didn't.
how do you
He's
think he's
maintaining his
many times?
innocence.
Yes, he is maintaining his innocence.
Is he innocent? Is he innocent? Did he have anything to do on that night with the
Like I said, if he's maintaining his innocence, yes, he's innocent.
He did not shoot a gun.
Correct.
If Tory gets time, how do you think he's going to handle this?
Well, you know, he's going to handle it like he's been able to handle everything so far. He's lived, as you can see, an incredibly tough life, and he's just going to have to deal with it. Unfortunately, the numerous people who he's been helping over the years will ultimately suffer. And I'm sorry, I think what we established today clearly shows that a community would suffer if he spent an extended amount of time behind bars.
So just so we're clear, you guys are asking for probation and not jail time.
What we're asking for is, first of all, he's doing jail time. He's has over a year of credits in jail. In addition to that, we're asking that he receive residential treatment, which is in-house treatment. You don't go home, so that's technically also a period of incarceration. So rather than throw someone, another man of color, in prison, I think what we could do is try and do what we always try to accomplish in this criminal justice system, and that is to try and do some good. And what's the best that could come out of this unfortunate situation? One is that he gets the help he needs for his issue with alcohol, and two, that the community doesn't suffer. And I think every day Daystar Peterson is locked up, the community suffers. And you all saw that today, and you all saw exactly how many people, through all of the random acts of kindness and through the hard work and dedication that he's committed to public service. This is not just an entertainer. This is a young man who's committed his life to service. And it's easy for us to sit back and judge until you've actually gone out there and you've delivered turkeys. You've reached into your own pocket, and instead of building a nest egg and building your wealth, you're giving it away to people who need it, who are less fortunate than you are.
But
and I think that weighs a lot. And I'm sorry.
In Meg's statement, what do you think of Megan's statement?
I think I have no comments. I don't represent Ms. So I can't
Mr. Baez, worst case scenario, what do you think the sentence should be? Probation.
As we've recommended, I think he should, one, the time that he served should be taken into consideration. He's on lockdown. He's in solitary confinement 23 hours a day. He can't even go to take a shower without chains. He's under these conditions. He's doing hard time currently because of his status, because of who he is. So if you're going to take who he is into consideration for his punishment, you should also take who he is into consideration of mitigation. That is my position, and it's our position that he should receive the credit for the time he's done, the hard time he's done. In addition to that, we're going to be requesting a year of in-house treatment. That's 2 years there, and then the ability to continue doing the work that he's and the service that he's doing. If you want to make it a part of his condition of probation, go ahead and do that. I have no doubt, and I think very few people would have doubt that this young man won't go out there and do more good, because he's proven he can do that. He's proven he's done it, and he continues to do it to this day.
You say he's remorseful, but Meg's statement and her attorney's words today express 2.5 years of hell, and making statements that it's almost shifting the blame from the victim, in this case, Meg, to Tory. I mean, what do you make of that?
Again, I don't represent Ms. P, but what I do know is that she's been incredibly successful over these last 2 years. Her career has taken off beyond proportion. She's doing all kinds of wonderful things in the industry. She's making lots of money. She's enjoying lots of success. She's doing lots of she's a beacon in the rap community for the work that she's doing. In addition to that, she's doing things in physical fitness, and she's branding herself in a certain way that has been nothing but success. So, look, I applaud her for that, and I certainly think everyone should be applauded for their efforts and their hard work.
If Tory's freed, I mean, how is Tory going to feel? And what about all the time that he's already spent behind bars?
As I mentioned, I think certainly he should be credited. Of course, he wants to get back to his family, to his community, and to to all of those that he wants to continue to help.
If Tory is maintaining his innocence, what is he remorseful for?
He's remorseful for his conduct. There's a lot of bad conduct that occurred that evening that, of course, he is responsible for. And one thing, as we all know, there's no incident that's isolated. One thing leads to another, to another. And you heard a lot of talk today about nexus, and that's specifically what we're referring to. I think when you peel back all of the layers, Tory is remorseful for his actions. He's embarrassed by his conduct, and his brand has taken a major hit, and it's something that he's going to have to repair and pay for as he tries to get his life back together. Nobody's going to let him out. He's not going to get let out tomorrow, and everybody's just going to be all so wonderful and accepting of him. He's going to have to face the tough questions. He's going to have to pay his dues and gain the trust of the community for which he served. Now, you heard, in fact, today, one of the charities he wanted to continue to work for would not allow him to, given the PR issue that they would have had to deal with. So, you know, all he can do is try and rebuild his life by assisting and committing service one day at a time.
What is
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to run.
What is Tory's life like in jail?
It's essentially a living hell. I don't know how someone could last in isolation for so long. He's moved, whenever he's moved, he's chained. That includes taking a shower. You try taking a shower with chains on. Not a pleasant experience. You try being in a situation where you're by yourself 23 hours a day, day in and day out. That's a form of suffering for which you must take into consideration if you're going to judge or attempt to punish him.
How is he feeling? What has he said to you today?
Again, he's encouraged, and we're certainly hoping that he gets a fair shake with Judge Herriford. And right now, it's not over until it's over. And